Hello everyone. Today I will be talking about how a bilingual environment influences the occurrence of code switching. First, we need to discuss what code switching is. It's about individuals alternate between different languages or dialects in context of monolingual behavior or nonverbal communication. Here we will focus on two main types. The first type is situational code switching, and the second type is metaphorical code switching. What is situational code switching? Using different languages in different contexts and for different communicative purposes. The influencing factors is interactional relationship patterns between speakers, like friends, colleagues, and means of communication, written or oral communication, phone or face-to-face. In addition to situational code switching, another common form of code switching is called metaphorical code switching. There is an example. My doctor told me to go on a diet. She said I was overweight, so I tried. But it was so hard. I'd keep thinking about food all the time, even when I was at work. And in bed at night, I'd get desperate. I couldn't go to sleep, so I'd get up and raise the fridge. Then I'd feel guilty and sick. The speaker is a Samoan English bilingual, and the parts in blue are in Samoan. What motivates a speaker to switch between two different languages while telling the same story? By observation, it is easy to conclude that when describing the background of events or the timeline of the story, such as "so I tried even when I was at work and in bed," the speaker uses English. This part of the story leaves little space for interpretation and elaboration. However, when describing feelings of confusing guilt and helplessness, such as "I'd keep thinking about food all the time, I'd get desperate, I couldn't go to sleep," the speaker uses Samoan. In other words, different languages serve as tools for the speaker's self-explanation and self-performation, serving social and cultural functions in the broader social context. Van Heck says to do this kind of switching, the speaker has to know both languages well enough to draw on them, and he also has to know what social meaning each language carries in the multilingual speech community that he inhabits. Code switching is very different from mixed language like Chinglish, Spanglish. It's conscious and purposeful, and also it's systematically. From the above context, we can conclude that code switching is common among people who have been using two languages for a long time. But what are the conditions for occurrence? First, the speaker in code switching must be proficient in both languages at the same time. Third, the occurrence of code switching is conditioned by a strict linguistic environment. Code switching will not happen in a monolingual environment, even if one of the speakers is proficient in both languages. Third, the use of code switching is influenced by the willingness of both speakers. If one speaker refuses to communicate using code switching, the conversation is unlikely to continue. The use of code switching is, in fact, the result of a communicative negotiation between both speakers. Now, let's go back to this question. How does a bilingual environment influence the occurrence of code switching? First, individuals living in a bilingual environment and using two languages are largely bilingual proficient. Therefore, they already have a function in code switching. So this is the bilingual environment directly provides condition 1 and condition 2 that we proposed in the previous section. Second, a bilingual environment is indirectly lead to a more flexible willingness in language choice, thereby indirectly providing a context for condition 3. Third, in a bilingual environment, especially when two languages are responsible for different aspects of work and life, each language brings in distinct concepts, which reduce the cognitive cost of switching between them. We assume that in a brain, each concept is represented by a star-shaped structure, with the center of the star being the concept itself and each branch extending out to represent it, the vocabulary of different languages. Each branch has a different connection strength, represented by S of A and B. The stronger the connection, the faster we establish this link, making it easier to recall and use the word in that language. The phenomenon of code switching often occurs in situations like this. In these two cases, either the connection strength between English and the concept is stronger, such as when we learn certain terms in an English context without knowing their Chinese equivalents, or the connection strength between both English and the concept and the Chinese and the concept are similar, but we have never recognized that the expressions in the two languages correspond to each other, like 知道了 and I see. At this moment, the choice of language is essentially a matter of the connection strength of the branches. The language that has a stronger connection in the current thought process is more likely to be spoken. Fourth, due to the reduced cognitive cost of using code switching in a bilingual environment, we are more likely to transform the context we wish to experience using code switching structures. As a result, to some extent, in a bilingual environment, code switching sentences more easily reflect our inner state at the time, which in turn encourages us to continue using code switching. When the speaker says a sentence, we must assume that the sentence fully experiences all of their inner thoughts, and the listener's task is to infer the speaker's inner state based on that sentence. The reason we say this is not only because of simple laziness, but also because without it, we wouldn't be able to experience ourselves to the fullest. From this viewpoint, for a professional bilingual, 报告 and report are different, and 经历 and effort are different. These slight differences are what truly reflect our inner state, asking us to use a different word or translate it into Chinese would not only raise the cognitive cost, but also diminish the expression of our inner feelings. Now the last question, does code switching indicate a decline in one's native language? Of course, the answer is no. The phenomenon of code switching in language can be separated into two distinct cases. Compensating for the gaps in our native language setting. For example, in Chinese, we basically don't have a concept like each person brings their slides on stage, talks about their research for 10 minutes, followed by a 5-minute open Q&A section and 2-minute advanced feedback. Nor do we have a principal word for this. The English term presentation, however, fills this gap. It can be said that without this English word, we still wouldn't have a simple and clear way to experience this concept in Chinese. Therefore, this kind of gap-filling code-switching phenomenon does not actually affect our proficiency in our native language. The other case is when the new consequent to foreign language connection forms alongside an existing consequent to native language connection, with the new connection being stronger than the original one. In this case, we are indeed being lazy, directly switching languages to reduce cognitive effect, but the consequent to native language connection have essentially remained unaffected. This connection still exists and has not disappeared, although it may take a bit more time to assess than a foreign language. It is not completely inaccessible. We have not lost our ability to experience ourselves in our native language. It's my references. To sum up, a bilingual environment influences how we switch between languages, making it a natural part of communication. By understanding the factors that affect code switching, we gain deeper insight into how language works in our minds. Thank you.